recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Best of all, now Thompson Tractor is making that investment even better with our Workhorse Special. Get 0% financing for 36 months on the purchase of a new Cat 255 compact track loader that comes with a 3-year warranty. You also get a 74-inch bucket and 1,000-hour filter kit. But hurry, this offer is only good through June 30th. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family-owned for over 14 years. They do both residential and commercial applications and get most jobs done in a day. Lifetime Epoxy Floors' motto is, we love what we do, and it shows. Visit LifetimeEpoxyFloors.com to schedule a free estimate today and check them out on Facebook.
The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. Weekday morning starting at 9 a.m. on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Hey, y'all, we're back. We're live. It's a Tuesday edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. Better buckle up because it's going to be a warm one in the Tennessee Valley today. Your high today, 93 degrees. Already 76 out there. Feels like 82. As you make your way into work, wherever you may be headed on this Tuesday. Might want to give our good friends at Talon Heating and Air a call. Yep, going to be a warm one. Let their Talon do a little work for you, 256-503-4490. You can find them online at talonthvac.com, Talon Heating and Air. Get that air condition serviced. Going to put a lot of pressure, a lot of heat on that air conditioner over the next couple days. You want to make sure you stay cool. Thomas, Terry, Jeremy, give them a call. Talent Heating and Air. Look, they bailed us out a couple weeks ago. They can do the same thing for you. Give them a call. 256-503-4490. A lot of stuff to get through today. A lot of stuff A lot of fun stuff to get through. Some college football conversation, some basketball, some baseball. Going to cover the gamut once again. But we start you off with 60 days, 4 hours, 57 minutes, and 31 seconds until the start of the college football season. And boy, oh boy, it's funny how people just are talking during the off season. And Thomas Castellanos, the former Boston College quarterback, said some words. I don't know how much. I mean, it's definitely material for the season opener. In an article for On3, Castellanos, who has transferred to Florida State this offseason, says, I'm excited. People I don't know if they know, but you go back and watch every first game that I played in, we always start fast. I dreamed of moments like this. That's awesome. Love it what he's saying. Then he says, though, I dreamed of playing against Alabama. They don't have Nick Saban to save them. I just don't see them stopping me, says Castellanos in an article to On3. Went on to say, and then the ACC. I feel like I tore the ACC up by my damn self for the last 2 years. And now I'm with a squad. I hope people don't think that Florida State is going to be the same team it was last year because we have weapons. People can't just sit back in zone coverage and watch me.
Can't fix stupid. That's all I can tell you. SOB couldn't keep the job at Boston College, and I thought he was a good little player.
Right.
Then he makes no sense because he's talking about Gus Malzahn's going to turn him loose. Then why the hell didn't you stay with Gus Malzahn at UCF? He's going to turn you loose. Why'd you transfer to Boston College?
He says, I'm here to save jobs and win.
Well, hopefully he's going to go to the hospital. And that's after getting his ass whipped by Alabama's defense, because that's complete and utter disrespect. That's all that is. A guy running his mouth because Nick Saban isn't there anymore, so he doesn't think Alabama's any good. He put up respectable numbers and even beat Florida State at Boston College, but to throw Bill O'Brien under the bus, and Jalen Milroe did the same thing, I think is classless. I thought Milroe was classless for doing it. I think Castellanos is classless for doing it.
He says Bill O'Brien and I butted heads early in the offseason. I got banged up a few games. We had a meeting, and it kind of blew up in my face. I did so much for the program, and I just wasn't repaid the right way.
Well, how should he have been repaid? You know what I'm saying? He put up good numbers. He won some football games. Why don't you just translate it? You weren't. You
weren't good enough.
He tweaked the offense to fit your skill set, but honestly, he doesn't. He wants a pro style QB. It's kind of like what Alabama went through with Milroe last year.
Right.
And it was a square peg in a round hole. Even though Milroe had a good year, didn't have a great year by any stretch because Alabama didn't make the playoffs, and he was a turnover machine. And if he had a great year, he would have been a Heisman candidate and a first-round draft pick. Instead, he wasn't anywhere on the Heisman radar. Unlike the year before, he didn't win an SEC championship either, and he was a third-round draft pick barely because, it was at the end of the third round. So, again, I'm just telling you, Castellanos, he maybe he can go back it up against Alabama, but I wouldn't tug on Superman's scale. I wouldn't be running my mouth, especially when I've never played a game at Florida State.
Right.
And you don't completely know what you've got yet, and they don't because they haven't even practiced.
Right.
Besides spring football. So, and this is not a football team at Florida State that was 6-6 even last year. They were 2-10. So I think I would shut my mouth. And if I'm Alabama, I'm going to have that all over my locker room, and I'm going to bust him up. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
that's the first thing I'm going to do. He said he got banged up last year. Well, you're going to be banged up after the first game. And, you better hope you're not Clemson in 2008 where you lose your damn job and everybody's fired, before the first month, because it could easily happen. So, again, I got respect for Florida State's program, but I thought what Castellanos did was, if I'm Mike Norvell, what are you doing, dude? Like, how stupid are you? I mean, Diego Pavia, he's run his mouth some during the offseason, but at least he has a pelt on the wall. He beat Alabama last year.
Right.
Castellanos played in the Bush Leagues. He's still playing in the Bush Leagues. And then he's talking big like he's just going to ambush some SEC team. Well, you might should have kept your mouth shut and just practiced because this is a kid that's a good player, but this is not a Heisman candidate, in my opinion.
Well,
and
no.
I don't think Gus Malzahn's going to reinvent the wheel with what he's done offensively because he never has.
No. Gus Malzahn couldn't get it going at UCF.
He left before he could get fired.
Yes.
He Houston nutted the situation. Houston Nutt left left Arkansas for Ole Miss before he could get fired. And I like Houston Nutt. I think he's a good football coach, but that is the truth.
So you take what here's what he did in limited action last year. He threw for over 1,300 yards, 5 touchdowns, 61% of his passes, rushed for 194. Now in 23, he was 7th in the ACC in passing yards. He had 8 touchdowns, 8th in touchdowns with 15, 11th in the completion percentage at 57%. He was 2nd in interceptions with 16. So he's turnover prone. The question, though, is, and it's Gus Malzahn. We've seen what Gus Malzahn can do with certain quarterbacks.
And he fits what Gus wants to do. That's why they went out and got him, and he'd already had him at UCF. He wants someone that's a dual threat that can run the football.
Right.
And Castellanos can do that. I watched him last year. He is a scrappy, good football player. But again, Alabama's got a chance to have a really good football team.
Defensively is a strength.
But I would not, be giving them bulletin board material before you ever play, especially when you're coming off of a season where, to be honest, if they hadn't signed Mike Norvell to a huge contract extension because of what happened 2 years ago with Jordan Travis and them, he would have already had his ass fired after last season. So, they just couldn't really afford it because that's why they're in the Bush Leagues. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, Florida State is a really good program, and the ACC needs them to bounce back. I mean, Clemson and Florida State are your 2 best brands football-wise in that conference. Miami, right behind them, I think. And
SMU?
And Mario Cristobal is trying to get Miami back there. But, man, come on, man. SMU, give me a break. They spend money and they're trying to come back and become relevant again for the first time since they got themselves the death penalty because they paid everybody pre-NIL. But, I mean, give me a break. They weren't one of the top 16 teams in the country last year. If they had been in the SEC, I'll just say it, they would not have been bowl eligible. Maybe they could have beaten Diego Pavia, maybe, but probably not. They took advantage of a Bush League conference, got in the playoff, and got their ass destroyed.
Well, Vanderbilt does run the state of Tennessee.
Well, that's what Diego says. And if I were Social Security Diego, I think I'd shut up too and just and then work hard out there because again, you're not going to sneak up on anybody, pal. And so, I personally, I can't wait till Vanderbilt comes to Tuscaloosa because I think they're going to get blasted. And I respect the heck out of Diego Pavia and what he's accomplished. So he's totally overachieved. He's always been underestimated and had a chip on his shoulder. But again, I've seen this story. You're not going to sneak up on anybody this year, pal. You better hope you can make a bowl game. But I'll predict it, they won't.
Boy, I tell you what, remember the offseason nobody used to say anything. Nobody. Now these kids are just kind of
they're all getting paid, and I guess they feel like they're going to get their check. And they have to, and the coaches are going to have to play them because they're getting paid. So we'll see. But I've seen guys lose jobs too, no matter what you're getting paid. So you better be ready to play, is all I'm saying. Because with Diego and Diego definitely will be the QB at Vanderbilt right now. I mean, they got to have him there. Yeah. But Castellanos, yes, he is the starter at Florida State. But it ain't going to take long if things go south. Man, come on, dude. If Florida State loses 3 games the first month, that whole staff's going to be out on their butts. And so Castellanos is talking big, saying, well, I got to save jobs. Well, we'll see if you're good enough to do that. I'm not so sure you are. So your previous coach, Bill O'Brien, didn't think you were good enough to keep around as the starting quarterback this year. So,
well, outside of Alabama, after the Alabama game, Florida State will rebound with East Texas A&M I've never even heard of them. Then Kent State. Then they get into ACC play. Virginia, Miami, Pitt, Stanford, Wake Forest, Clemson, Virginia Tech, NC State, and Florida. Not a murderer's row, so to speak, of schedules there for Florida State. The Clemson game should be that should be a tough one. You would think Virginia Tech might be because it's on the road. Dave Dorn in NC State, his back is against the wall, so that one should be tough. And then you round out with Florida, who some people think would be in the top half of the SEC this year.
And to me, the honest for Alabama, it's going to be on their defense because they've got a whole off season to prepare for this Florida State team. And again, you haven't seen them on the field and what they're going to do, but I mean, it's Gus Malzahn. You should know. I mean, he's not going to reinvent the wheel. It's going to be a lot of zone read stuff. You've got to be able to stop the run. In other words, the defensive line for Alabama has to be ready to play.
Yeah, you know and Gus Malzahn likes to let his quarterbacks run.
Well, and
Thomas Castellanos runs.
He wants to control the game. He wants to run the football, control the clock, and Alabama's defense has got to be ready to stop that. And if they're not, go Greyhound, because it'll be Freddie Roach's fault.
Well, I am sure in less than 3 weeks, we will be sitting in Atlanta. And I am sure the Alabama players that'll be there for SEC Media Days, we don't know yet. The conference has yet to release
on a show.
It'll get asked. Now.
The three guys that I would bring to the media days, I would bring Parker Brailsford, who I think is going to be the best center in college football.
Right.
I would bring, to me, I'm not bringing Ty Simpson because he hasn't started any games, but I'm gonna bring Jeremy Bernard because I think he's the leader of the offense, so to speak, along with Brailsford, because he brings a lunch pail mentality, put up numbers last year. He's going to be a fifth-year senior this year. And then defensively, I'm bringing Deontay Lawson. I know we haven't really seen him since the Oklahoma game because that's when he tore his ACL, but he's the leader of that defense. I mean, they were out thinking up to that point he was probably going to go to the NFL. He gets hurt, but I would bring Deontay Lawson.
No Ryan Williams.
Not yet. I mean, he's a sophomore. He'll have a chance to maybe be that dude next year. But that's the three guys I would bring. It's three. Now Brailsford technically has another year, but if he has another really good season, I think he'll move on to the NFL. But you got Deontay and Jeremy, who are fifth-year senior type guys, and they've got to have this team ready to play. And I mean, I'll be honest with you. It happened a little bit with Georgia taunting Alabama in 2015 and Saban before the game, and Saban and those guys destroyed them. And they had some teams every now and then that would step out and put up some bulletin board material, but not a lot.
Right.
Right. Not as brazen as this. And Castellanos is basically just saying you guys suck and you don't have
Nick Saban anymore, so we're just going to roll over you. Yeah.
We're going to roll over you. We were 2-10 last year, and I'm the greatest quarterback in the history of man, and I'm so damn good that I got benched at Boston College, but I'm going to Florida State, and I'm going to light it up. I'm going to light up the whole league. And maybe he will. I don't know. But if I were Alabama, he would feel me during and after the game, and then somebody needs to ask him if they do get beat, and I'm going to pick 38 to 10 here by 4 touchdowns. Like, what happened, bruh? I thought you were ready to play. What did Alabama do to completely shut you down? That's what they need to do.
Oh, if he loses this game,
hell,
the memes that are going to come out.
He may not even be the starting quarterback by game 3. So let's just be blunt about that. So.
Well, that's how we get you cranked up on a Tuesday. Never short of stuff.
I thought it was funny, too, because a lot of the ACC folks, when the SEC was struggling in baseball, there was a lot of memes out there. It's the SEC. It's the SEC. It's the SEC. Who won the national championship? And where was the ACC? Sitting at home like always.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the Big Ten. And you know what? The Big Ten still hasn't won a baseball championship, have they?
Well, they played for one a few years ago with Eric Bakich in Michigan. They did get there, and
They got there,
to the
but
finals.
they still haven't.
But they won't win one anytime soon, unless UCLA, Washington, one of their Pac-12 cohorts. Even USC had a good year this year, but I think a lot of what happened with USC is they're playing a bunch of teams where from the up north that don't really give a rat's crap about baseball, and so it's harder to get a run on that. I mean, obviously, from the results this year, Ohio State, they've had some good teams, but they don't really care about baseball anymore. They're probably going to suck until the end of time. I mean, because they're going to be too busy trying to pour most of it into football and a little bit into basketball, and the rest of it, who gives a rat's crap? Unless they have do they have a hockey team? I mean,
who's that?
The Big Ten, because a lot of the Big Ten teams play hockey.
Northern ones do. The Michigans, the Wisconsins, Michigan State, Ohio State.
See, that's the thing. That's where you forget. Like they don't have good baseball, but they have hockey. And hockey is a very expensive sport. Look what we went through with UAH here in our town.
Hockey is very, very expensive. Yes.
And if you're
it's Michigan, it's
Big Ten hockey, it's a big deal.
It's the original Big Ten.
Yeah.
Michigan State, Minnesota, Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin all have hockey, along with Penn State and Notre Dame. And they are part of the Big Ten hockey.
Think about this, like a Wisconsin. They have hockey. It's a big deal. They don't even have baseball. It's too damn cold. They don't care.
No, they don't.
And and I don't even, do they even have softball?
I imagine they probably do, simply
I was thinking
because
maybe it's women's hockey. Seriously. I mean,
I know they have women's hockey.
Because hockey is a huge deal in the Midwest and the Big Ten. I mean, it's a big, big deal. I mean, I'm not a hockey person, but they, that's something that these universities have. Now, UCLA and USC ain't never going to have hockey.
No, you're right. Wisconsin does. So Northwestern, Michigan, Rutgers, Nebraska, Minnesota, Indiana, Ohio State, Penn State, Purdue, Maryland, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan State, and Iowa all have softball.
Okay, so I was wondering if they did. I don't follow Big Ten softball because it doesn't.
Now you add UCLA, USC to that mix.
I mean, it actually helped their softball to add those teams in Oregon and them. And again, I know Michigan's been good in softball. I think they even won a national championship about a decade ago. But,
Oregon, UCLA, Washington, all that.
Hockey is huge over there, man. Yeah. And it's a club sport in the SEC. I mean, it's never going to be a sanctioned sport.
All right. Wow. What is this? USC's in the Big Ten, right?
Yeah.
They don't have softball.
No, they've never had it.
That's crazy.
When I several years ago, when I realized that, I thought it was crazy as well. But no, they've never attempted to have a program, because think about it. UCLA and Arizona, for many, many years were and Arizona State, they ruled the sport before the SEC started.
Yeah.
But USC, it's not like they dropped it. I don't think, as far as when I looked into it, I don't think they ever had it. They just decided not to do it. It's about as surprising, I'll be honest, as Vanderbilt, even though word is Vanderbilt's finally going to build a stadium and gonna join in and finally start a softball program. Why USC has it, I have no idea, because with all the talent out there in California, and then and seriously, USC is an outstanding academic school with all the attraction you could have over there. They would have a top 10 to 15 program if they did it the right way.
Yeah.
I have no idea why they've never decided to play softball. I mean, that was one of the biggest shocks, because I'll be honest, I only half followed softball until the SEC started. Then you start following it now, and you knew about how it was such a West Coast dominated sport. But think about it too, like when you go back and look, Oregon, their program isn't that old. I mean, they didn't have it at first either, and it hasn't taken them long to hit the ground running and be good. It hasn't taken long in the South. the Dukes and the Clemsons. And that's why I think with everybody being good in the SEC, if Vanderbilt decides to take the plunge and they hire the right coach, it's an outstanding academic institution and an unbelievable city to live in Nashville. Sure. I mean, this ain't walking in Memphis where you got to have a bulletproof vest on. So
you don't want to go there, do you? No, you don't.
Nashville.
We need to get Candace Story Lee back on the show. Bob Jones alum. We need to get her back on and ask her if Vanderbilt would add softball.
Well, I mean, one of the problems has always been that being landlocked and where they would put the facility. But
right.
I was told that they're getting that figured out, and and I think Greg Sankey and the SEC would like them to join the fray.
Right.
I mean,
7:22 here on a Tuesday. Let's get our first break in, shall we? Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
When the biggest names in aerospace, financial services, and electronics needed office and manufacturing space in Huntsville, they called Samples Properties, and they've been doing it for over 40 years. When Huntsville first began to grow, so did Samples Properties. You can trust your business to Samples Properties and their deep knowledge of the commercial real estate market in Huntsville and Madison. When you're in the market for commercial real estate and you need a partner who knows how to make your plans come together, Samples Properties can guide you through all the legal, financial, and regulatory hurdles. And if you just need office space to start or grow your business, Samples Properties is the call you need to make. Go to samplesproperties.com to see the impressive list of clients that have profited from the knowledge and integrity of Samples Properties. For commercial real estate development and consultation, trust your business to Samples Properties, with offices on Madison Street in downtown Huntsville. Samplesproperties.com.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead ran away and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
The Atlanta Braves.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. Line shot left field. Around third base, Albies. Here's the throw from Lux. Not in time. Braves win as the rookie walked it off in 11 innings.
All season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Seem to get this out of my head. I know you watch TikTok videos, right?
Sometimes. I mean,
Have you seen this one? This one?
Chicken banana. Chicken banana.
Chicken
banana. Banana. Banana.
I have not
Chicken
seen anything
banana.
chicken banana.
Chicken banana.
Chicken banana.
Or chicken banana. whatever.
Banana. Banana.
Why in the hell would you be
Chicken
talking about
banana.
chicken
Chicken banana.
It's
Chicken banana. Banana. Banana.
banana?
Chicken
Okay.
banana. Chicken
That one
banana.
I have not
Chicken
seen.
banana.
I mean, I
Banana.
have a TikTok
Banana.
account with no TikTok.
Chicken banana.
Okay.
Chicken banana. Chicken.
Oh, I don't know why.
I mean,
I've not been able to
I
get
do-
that out of my
people
head
link
lately.
TikToks. I see TikToks. but
Right.
I have not seen a chicken banana.
Sounds like the most TikTok thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's AI, and it's a
gotta
little
be.
baby dancing with a banana.
Yeah. Dancing with a banana, bro. I mean, what is this? Something the Savannah bananas are doing?
Chicken banana. I just
I
cannot
mean-
get that out of my head. I mean, literally, it's
The Savannah bananas are an amazing story, but
they are.
I still can't believe that ESPN was putting Savannah Bananas games above the College World Series or the regionals. Like, what in the hell are you doing? Like, put it on ESPN.
I want to
like,
go to a game though. I
2
do.
or or on the ESPN news. But why in the hell are you putting it above college baseball when it's almost like WWE baseball, man? It's not even real baseball.
Oh, it's not, but it's entertainment.
Yeah,
That's what it is. It's just entertainment.
I don't know. I mean,
Well, speaking of entertaining, couple questions here, courtesy of the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
2-2. Ground ball out to second. Ozzie secures, sends it over. Braves win. What a masterful job on the mound from start to finish. And the Braves offense gave the pitching just enough to get them by. And the Braves won it 3-2 to take game 1 versus the Mets.
just don't play
Braves
the
now 4-0 versus the Mets this season. And they won a nail biter here in the Big Apple.
So the question surrounding the Atlanta Braves is, did they find a new closer in Dylan Lee last night? He ends Atlanta's 31-game save drought.
Well, the one thing that Ben Ingram does a great job, didn't mention during that broadcast that this game was almost blown by Rysel. I'm finished, Iglesias.
Yes, yes.
Should never close another game for the Atlanta Braves. I'm sorry, but they say sometimes these closers they
check out.
They check out quick. And
Yeah.
I think Rysel's done. But yeah, it was great. Dylan Lee came in the 8th, was able to get him out of an 8th inning jam and then shut it down in the 9th. And 2 years ago, he was really, really good, but then he got hurt and he's been having to get back on the horse, and he may be coming into his own. Maybe he's going to be the guy, but I'll just say this. And of course, I had a friend last night, Dylan Lee, it's awesome. Said, can't watch it. He goes, I know. But I was just like,
it's not that you can't watch because they're horrible.
No,
it's because you just you literally
because
cannot
Comcast
watch
sucks.
it.
That's why I can't watch it, because they're a bunch of crooks and they're trying to,
They want you to watch horse racing.
Yeah, they switched everything around. They want me to pay a bunch of extra money, and that's the way Comcast is, unfortunately. That's why we drop kicked them when I was in my previous house, and but I'm locked into Comcast because of where I live, and I can still pay for streaming like FUBU or whatever, not the clothing.
Yep.
But I could pay for an extra streaming network.
Can
but
you
then-
not tell them that you don't want cable? Is
no.
that part of your option there? You
can't-
have to have cable.
It's part of the HOA and the internet and all that other stuff. So that's what you got to do. And I live in a very nice place, but
you
again,
do.
That's,
You do.
That's just one of those things that you're locked into. And unfortunately, we don't have an option to drop them and go get Google Fiber or something, and where they don't screw you over. But Comcast as one of my former coworkers used to call them Concast, is that's just what they do.
Didn't we have them here when I first started over at the old building?
We can thank them at our first location for costing us Nick Saban because they had a raging wide outage for 6 hours because they couldn't get their heads out of their asses and get it fixed. So yeah, I'm ripping their ass and I don't care. So, but I mean, I'm just saying, I'm telling the truth. Don't give a rat's crap.
It's Tell the Truth Tuesday, right?
Exactly. I mean, if they like it or not, because, I need to go see them anyway and lay down the law and be like, look, you're going to give me the Braves. Get rid of this horse race. And I don't care if you get rid of both of them. I don't want it.
You got 2 channels. 2 channels of horse racing.
Stupid asses. So, it is what it is. But I can't watch it. So
right, but they did get a win last night against the Mets.
Sunday night baseball or something like that, or Monday night baseball. But even the ESPN's losing their Major League Baseball supposedly.
Yeah, remember they cut it. ESPN said we don't want Major League Baseball. They dropped out of their contract.
Yeah, they're after this year. I guess they're done. So I don't know what you're going to do as far as. If maybe I do get MLB TV now but in 2 days I might not have it. I mean, they may decide to drop that and
give you a third horse racing channel.
Yeah, order this package for $30 more and we'll let you have it back. Yeah, something like that. But whatever.
So the other night, son wanted to watch the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
So I said, all right. So right now I do not have a live TV provider.
Oh yeah.
We have a bunch of these Paramount Plus, Peacock. We have a lot of these the little packages. We just don't have a live. So what I do is I just stream Hulu you get it free for 3 days.
So you just do those.
So I put Hulu on.
Yeah.
Soon as the finals are over, I canceled my subscription. I did not pay for it. Don't have to pay for it.
Right.
So I got to watch the finals, canceled it, and I didn't have to pay anything. And, well, when I get close to college football season, we'll buy one for 3 or 4 months. So I have ESPN and stuff to watch college football on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I don't want to pay for one to watch, not during the summer.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I missed, the Braves on TBS more every day. Got a chance to see them all the time. Ted Turner had some sense and knew how to market a product and everything else. And now we won't even have NBA on TNT anymore or TBS like we had for so many years.
No.
And it was a quality product. Now, of course, we know that inside the NBA or whatever is going to ESPN. And maybe that means they'll trapdoor some of this garbage they got on now with Mutt, Jeff, and Moron.
My wife was like, God, I can't stand listening to Stephen A. for 2 minutes.
Well, I mean, Stephen A., when he first got in the business, I liked him. I thought he was a knowledgeable guy.
Yeah.
But now it's just too much yelling and screaming, and then half of his takes are idiotic. So, I mean, he loves calling everybody else out. But, I mean, look, man, and first of all, but I will say this for him, his expertise is the NBA. The rest of it, he wouldn't know a football from a volleyball.
I got to get a break in. 7:35. 256-576-4977 is the number to the phone lines. You can join us next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
This is Steve Moulton for Tellini's Italiano. Tellini's Italiano is located right in front of the Walmart, right off of University, behind the McDonald's. More or less catty corner from Topgolf. It's one of my favorite places to go to, and if you go there, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you need to try the baked spaghetti, add a meatball. Also try the baked ziti with meat sauce, add sausage. You'll thank me. Save room for some pizzas and paninis as well. And don't forget about dessert as well. The best cheesecake I have had here in North Alabama is at Tellini's Italiano. Find out for yourself today. That's Tellini's Italiano, right off of University Drive in front of the Walmart. Located online at Tellinis.com. That's TELLINIS.com. Let's get some Tellini's tonight.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway, Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family-owned for over 14 years. They do both residential and commercial applications and get most jobs done in a day. Lifetime Epoxy Floors' motto is, we love what we do, and it shows. Visit LifetimeEpoxyFloors.com to schedule a free estimate today and check them out on Facebook.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed mold, mildew, bowing walls, or water in your basement? I hope not, but if you have, your basement is losing the war against groundwater. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states will work as before. See website for detail.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room, and Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Let's go out to the phone lines real fast. Jason with us out of the break. Good morning, Jason.
Morning, Jason.
Hey, morning. How y'all doing?
We're doing well, man. What's going on?
Oh, not much. I was talking about your cable problems. My brother hooked something up to the back of his TV. It's called Activia TV or something like that.
Right.
And like on Sunday, if the Titans or the Falcons are our only ball game option,
Right.
them Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and he watches the Eagles and who they're playing.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah, I mean, the box is like $25, and somebody turns the box on to you for $150, and his cable bill's $150 a year.
Oh, a year. Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, he don't even have to buy the NFL package. He watches any game he wants to, and
yeah,
it offers the SEC network. So, I like on Sundays, like I said, I go to his house and watch the ball game because I don't want to buy the package.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, no doubt about it. I mean, it's and we've got people texting in as well about there's always ways around stuff.
No, there is. I'm surprised though that you can't. I'm surprised some of these free, these third-party sites or whatever that you can get. You got to be able to find the Braves on there somewhere that you can buy a cable or whatever and plug your phone into your TV and watch it that way.
Well, and at one time before I moved, we did have YouTube TV for a while, but then they dropped them. They didn't have the Braves.
Right.
And so we ended up getting away from YouTube TV. I've been surprised that they haven't gone back and figured out a way to get the Braves.
One of them has something Exmo Spectrum.
Okay.
And they put a box and you stream it on your TV. There's no outside dish or anything like that. And you just hook up these little box and it comes to the internet. And I think it's like $63 a month.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's what I got. You can I watch the Braves on that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jason. Thanks for the phone call, bub.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of different streaming services. Let's slip in Pat real fast. Good morning, Pat.
What's up,
Good
Pat?
morning, Dad.
Had a Merry Flipmas yesterday, dog.
Yeah, man. Hey, what have we heard on Sedarian Morgan, the latest that up? I'm hearing that it's any minute.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
gonna do something one way or the other.
I think he'll be committing to Alabama in the very near future. I mean, I think that's him and Xavier Crowell. I think that's Crowell's this week as well. It's going to be a good week for Alabama. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And I think Max Sutter is another one to watch to go public as far as the tight end goes. And I think they'll find another tight end in the class as well. I think in most cases, especially with Kalen DeBoer, you're going to sign two because, again, they had to go to the transfer portal for a couple because with injuries and portal departures, the tight end room thinned out. So, and you'll have two seniors on the team next year in Brody Dalton, formerly a Fife Red Devil, and UAB Troy. And then, of course, Cuevas. This will be his last year, so it would only make sense to sign two. I know they liked Roman Voss a lot, but he's going to stay home, play for Minnesota, and be irrelevant.
Yeah, you're irrelevant.
Well, I mean, if you like going 8-4 and playing in some podunk bowl and going to a hockey game, you can go to Minnesota.
Yeah. Hey, but hey, at least it's going to be cool though. It's going to be cool, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, not like the Auburn quarterback who said it's just too hot in Thibodaux, Louisiana. Hey, is he one of those everybody gets a trophy people or what?
I don't know, man. I didn't know anything about that till yesterday.
What now? I still don't know what.
Jackson Arnold is not going to the Manning Passing Academy, I was told, because he told Archie, Eli, and Peyton that it was too hot in Thibodaux, Louisiana this time of year to go to the Manning Passing Academy. That's what I'm not saying. I'm not trying to say and make fun of him. I'm just telling you that's what I was told on another show yesterday. They wanted my reaction to, why is Jackson Arnold saying it's too hot to go to Thibodaux? I was shocked. I just figured he would be there. All great quarterbacks are there,
Yeah.
So my first thought was, is he JT Daniels' cousin? Because I brought up the fact that JT Daniels couldn't handle Radio Row because he got too stressed out and ended up playing at Rice in front of his mom, his dad, and two dogs.
he told the media that the reason why he didn't want to go was because he did go last year.
Okay.
He felt like it took time away from his teammates. He wants to get to know his Auburn teammates better, and so he's staying on campus to spend time with them.
That makes a lot more sense than the Heat. That didn't make any sense to me. I was like, surely to goodness he's not JT Daniels.
He says, I know going there meant I would miss a couple workouts with these guys. I felt like it wasn't fair to them. I felt like I should go through the whole summer with them and just keep working together. That's what he says in an interview.
Well, that makes a lot more sense than what I was told, that he said it was too hot. So to me, and I can understand that. He's never played with these guys at Auburn except for in the spring, and he didn't really do much in the spring because, as you saw, Hugh Freeze's spring practice was very condensed,
right,
and basically almost like an OTA type deal. So he does have a ways to go, and this is a huge year for Auburn because they haven't had a winning season in 5 years, and this is year 3 for Hugh Freeze, and they need to be good this year.
Yeah, he says, I walked into a brand new situation.
Right.
I didn't know a single person on the team before I came here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he told
and he didn't. That's true.
The media, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, well, guys, Jet yesterday had a real good interview with Ryan. Ryan didn't push him. I wanted Ryan to push him on that, what happened to him on the first day of the Elite 11. Because I heard that he'd been up for 48 hours wrestling with the devil about coming to God's country in Alabama. There was a reason that he had a bad day at the Elite 11 on the first day, or he would have been toward the top 3.
Well, I will say this, Pat, and I know how much you love recruiting and you love Jet Tamala, but I can tell you, and just let the cat out of the bag here. If you want to hear from Jet Tamala's high school coach, tune in to the show tomorrow as we are going to feature Taylor Mendenhall from South Millard High School in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay, I'll try to have it on. You don't know what part of the show because I'm working on a boat down in Orange Beach.
I got you. We don't. But if you miss it, it'll be on our SoundCloud page. You'll be able to hear it with no problem.
Thank you, sir. Y'all have a blessed day.
Thanks, Pat. All right, let's get a break in. We're going to wrap up hour 1 coming up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
Meteorologist Jordan Dressman, a mostly sunny sky this afternoon. It's going to be incredibly hot across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s. It's going to feel like it's anywhere between 104 and 106. Temperatures only drop into the mid 70s as we head into the overnight. A mostly sunny sky once again for your Wednesday. Once again, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s. Heat indices anywhere between 104 and 108.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. The following liner is courtesy of Frank Caliendo. Check out Frank online at frankcaliendo.com.
Listen to the drive with Wes Neighbors. I mean, Wes played at Alabama and he worked on the sled. I mean, it all comes down to the sled. I mean, I love the sled. Wes knows what I'm talking about. But as for Steve, Steve, he's one of those guys. The only sled he knows about was the one on Snowy Hill. Boom.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
I'm Jeff Jr., founder and CEO of Trajan Wealth. I was born and raised in northern Wisconsin by both my father, who owned a small 10-lane bowling alley, and my mother, who was a nurse, who did her best caring for everyone in our small town. My parents stressed with me that if you were going to do anything, it needed to be done right or not done at all. I later joined the Marine Corps, where additional values were instilled. Values like honor, courage, and commitment. The motto of the Marine Corps, Semper Fi, which means always faithful. The best part of Trajan Wealth, our 100-plus employees who also embrace the exact same values. If your current financial advisor is more interested in selling you something or is more loyal to their own financial gain than yours, give us a call for a second opinion. We would be honored to hear from you. Call Trajan today, 256-208-9000. That's 256-208-9000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you scheduled your wedding and even your child's birth around your school's game? Of course. But it means more than that. It means you're home to hundreds of Fulbright, Truman, Goldwater, and Rhodes Scholars. It means starting out as the birthplace of American public higher education, and now leading the way in unmanned spacecraft. This is the SEC. And here, it just means more.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve. And we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The Rocket City Trash Pandas all season long. Trash Panda Baseball is only on Talk Radio WZZN.
Just about done with hour one here on Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Mentioned we had college basketball news up the top of the show, and indeed we do have college basketball news, and it's good news if you are Nate Oates and company, because Latrell Wrightsell, they used a medical red shirt on him last year, hoping that he would be able to return in 25-26. And and they were a little nervous until the status became official. And indeed, the status is now official. Latrell Wrightsell has been granted a medical red shirt year for the 25-26 season for Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, Houston Millette was cleared a few weeks ago. This was just a formality to me. I guess you have to get the quote unquote official word from people that drag their feet. But
no, they do. Yeah.
But I mean, he tore his Achilles. It was in the first, 7-8 games of last year. He will be a 6th-year guy because of this. Otherwise, he would have been out of eligibility. Same way with Houston. But I think both these guys are really good fits for what Nate Oates wants to do. I saw them work out a couple times in June. The first workout, Latrell didn't do much, just stood to kind of watch from the side because, again, they're trying to decide when to clear him fully from this Achilles situation because we've already seen it rear its ugly head in the NBA with Tyrese Halliburton and Jason Tatum, and both of them will miss the majority of, if not the entire season next year. But Latrell did do some shooting and some moving around in the next day in the workout, and he looks good. I mean, and it'll be interesting to see if they play him on the ball some this year, with the great Mark Sears being gone to prefer for 2 professional basketball opportunities and hopefully get drafted tomorrow. Because guess what? Tomorrow is the NBA draft, by the way, with the Cooper Flag Invitational. But him and Grant Nelson both have aspirations to be drafted.
Right.
We'll see if that happens. I think Grant's had a good draft process as well. But Latrell is going to be a really good fit. He is a little undersized, but he's a blood-eye shooter. And Houston Millette is 6'5", 6'6". He has the size and length you would love. And, man, he was shooting the heck out of the basketball when I saw him earlier in June.
I'll tell you what. You had the NBA or the NFL draft.
Mm-hmm.
They have it on
now. They're doing the NBA draft 2 days now, is what somebody told me. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
How are they doing it? Is it like the first round
and then the second,
then the second round?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, you have all this build up to the NFL draft. Thousands of people.
I mean, it is an event.
The Major League Baseball draft kind of goes it's there, but I mean, it goes on for 2-3 days because there's so many rounds.
It's usually a at least. It used to be a 3-day event.
Yeah.
I think it's turned into a 2-day event now because remember they shortened it after COVID.
Right. Oh, they shortened the rounds. Yes.
There's not as many. There's 20 instead of like 50 now.
But the NBA draft just kind of falls in the middle of the week. Just
always.
I mean, yeah.
And
I mean, it's just kind of.
I didn't know about
it's
this 2-day event because it's always. Well, when I was growing up, if they still had obscene numbers of rounds, like you'd have to look it up, but I know they had double-digit rounds in the NBA draft.
It's at the Barclays Center, by the way.
Yeah, and in Brooklyn. But several years ago they cut it down to 2 rounds, and it's always been a 1-day thing. About 3 hours, bam, you get your 2 rounds. I started hearing yesterday, they've turned it into a 2-day event, and they're still going to have the first round, I guess, the first day. And now I guess they're just going to have 1 round the next day.
Yeah, it's going to be on ABC and ESPN on the tomorrow night.
Right.
And then on the 26th, it's just on ESPN.
Interesting. Just round 2.
Both times, I believe, are 7 o'clock.
So if somebody...
Yeah, both nights starts at 7 o'clock.
One of these dudes invited to the green room, if something goes disastrously bad, are they going to stay and show up for the second round of the draft and get their name called in the first 5 picks and get the hat and go see the associate commissioner that's not Adam Silver?
So there's 30 picks.
Yeah.
That's what we will have tomorrow night. 30 picks in the first round.
I mean, it's been an unbelievable last, 4 or 5 years for Madison County. I mean, we had our first lottery pick ever in Kyra Lewis, and then Kobe Brown going in round 1.
And there's only 28 picks in the second round.
Oh, they've shortened it by 2.
I don't know why.
Who was cheating?
Minnesota is the 31st pick in the second round. That's the first pick in the second round.
Yeah.
The last pick is Houston with the 59th pick.
Yeah, somebody got called cheating.
Oh. All right. Hour 2 is upon us. Stay with us. 60 more minutes of fun left.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
The NASCAR Cup Series this week at the Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta for the Quaker State 400, part of the NASCAR In-Season Challenge. Next 5 races will feature drivers going head-to-head in a single elimination-style tournament, the winner getting $1 million. Danny Hamlin, William Byron, both 5-1. Kyle Larson plus 550. Tyler Reddick and Christopher Bell, each 7-1. Braves over the Mets 3-2 yesterday at Citi Field. Today, it's Spencer Strider at $1.50 favorite against Clay Holmes of the Mets plus 123. The total 9 flat at Citi Field in New York. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Sportsmed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center getting us going for hour number 2. They're dedicated to providing care that improves lives. And it is official. A week from today, Dr. Ricks will be back here in studio.
Right.
So 1 week from today, Dr. Thomas Ricks from Sportsmed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, he is dedicated to providing care that improves lives. He will be in studio with us so we can get a good chat with the doc. So he'll be in with us. Hour 2 is upon us, and a lot of stuff to get through in hour number 2. We were talking some football recruiting, and the dead period is upon us. But I tell you what, I don't know. The Auburn Tigers and Hugh Freeze,
I know some people are getting antsy.
They are getting antsy because they've had a couple decommits.
Yeah, but I go back to this, and I equated it on another show yesterday to the Florida Gators. And Billy Napier, a lot of people thought in the first month after the Miami debacle, after the Texas A&M debacle, that he was fired.
Right.
And their recruiting for much of the year was in the toilet. They were ranked outside the top 40 or whatever. And then they turn around and go 7-5, and they end up in the top 10 in the country, and it changes dramatically. Some people have them in the top 10 to 15 in the preseason this year. I'm just telling you, the same thing can happen for Auburn. I think a lot of it is kids want to see the results on the field, and I still think and Hughes had stacked 2 top 10 classes on top of each other.
Right.
He's not been shy, and you got to give him credit for that, of saying it was going to take at least 3.
Right.
And this is the 3rd one. Yes, they've lost Shadrick Tootle, the local young man from South Alabama. He's now flipped to Georgia, linebacker that they had committed since the middle of 2024. And then they did lose Devin Carter, but I'm not going to panic about that because he had just flipped from Florida State in the last few months, and now he's flipped back to Florida State. I still say there's 8-9 months left, and if Auburn wins 8 or 9, and I thought they would last year, now I'm saying they will this year, then I think the recruiting will dramatically change. I don't think it's time to panic, but that's a long intro. But now we're going to talk about it with our next guest.
Well, it leads into our next guest perfectly.
And he's, of course, joining us on webcast, so you can see him.
We love seeing him.
Thumbs up to a guy that's been covering Auburn since 2001, always tells the truth, and that's Bryan Mathews of AuburnSports.com, part of the Rivals/On3 network now.
That's right.
Good morning. I've still got to get used to that too. I got to get
me too. Yeah.
And
we should have more on that here in the coming days. Some official stuff for the Auburn side of that. But
okay.
But
nice.
Just to break into what you're talking about, been a tough couple of weeks for Auburn recruiting.
But it's not time to panic, though, right? Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just because look, I saw how dramatically Florida flipped.
Yeah.
So I still think the same thing can happen for Auburn.
Yeah, I think Florida and Billy Napier is one of the best comebacks I've seen in my 25 years, right? Because he was number 1 on the list of guys most likely to be fired. Their recruiting, like Auburn's right now, was in the 50s and at the bottom of the SEC, and they rallied so much that they ended up with the number 6 class in the country.
Yeah,
that included flipping an Auburn commit to Bears Dice there, right around signing day. I don't remember the exact day it was, but so it can be done. Auburn in a similar situation, I think. Even though maybe Hugh Freeze is not getting the talk nationally that Billy Napier was a year ago, about being on the hot seat, I still think within the college football coaching and recruiting world, he's probably getting talked up a lot. I'm not saying that as an accusatory tone. I just think that's part of recruiting. That's the way it is. If you've got an advantage over another school, you're going to use it. And I think Auburn is in a position with 4 consecutive losses, with the coach going to his 3rd season, where they're having to answer a lot more questions than they have, when you're the 1st or 2nd year coach and everything looks, great, and you can use that. Yeah, I wouldn't panic, but it certainly was a disappointing couple of weeks there in recruiting for Auburn.
Those first couple recruiting classes for Hugh Freeze, it was just get anybody you can, though, right? I mean, they were just going after
But
numbers.
they got really good players,
and they
too.
got some good players. Are they being a little bit more selective, though, now on the recruiting trail?
I have not noticed a difference in them going after different players or better players. I think they had set a pretty high standard in the last two classes. I really do. I just think it has most of it has to do with the situation with Hugh Freeze. Health issues, I'm sure, are being thrown about quietly too.
That,
which is part of it, right?
Right.
Not saying it's fair, but recruiting is not fair, right? It's not nice. So sorry, that's just the way it goes. Auburn benefited from Florida's struggles a couple of years ago, flipping some guys that are. Amaris Williams is a great example.
Yeah.
Trying to think of the other couple too, but yeah, it's been a little bit of a rough ride. I do think there could be some more positive Auburn recruiting news this week. I think Jaquez Wilkes from up there in Wadley. I think he could have a decision as early as this week. I think Auburn's the team to beat there. I think I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Claude Mpoma. He's a big old offensive lineman from Chicago. Was down for an official visit. He's like 6'8", 300 plus. I think he's going to have a decision here in the next 4 or 5 days. I think June 29th is his date. So you could see Auburn boosting up its recruiting class here in the next few days.
Well, and I'll just say this too. You mentioned Chicago. When he was at Ole Miss, and a lot of this staff was with him then, or especially Derek Nix and those guys. But that's where they got Laquan Treadwell from Chicago. Right. So obviously he has some inroads there if you can get it. And offensive line has been a huge because we had a listener call in that had lived now in Texas at the time that was talking about Greg Little when he went and got Greg Little out of Texas when he was at Ole Miss, who was a 5-star player. So I know they've emphasized the line of scrimmage. And here's another big flip, and maybe the biggest flip when you look at it, if he ends up being as good as I think he's going to be this year for Auburn, was his first year when he flipped Keldrick Falk from Florida State.
Right, another big one. Yeah. All-American, preseason All-American, most likely. Could be a first-round draft pick. So, yeah. So, and you mentioned Tootle right away. He's a guy that I would not, give up on if I'm Auburn, or if I'm Auburn fans that follow recruiting. I'm sure Auburn is going to continue recruiting. Yep. So we got till December to figure things out. I'm not sure that Auburn can go from, I guess they're 64th or 54th. I don't remember which one it was, all the way to 6th, because we're not in the NIL era anymore necessarily, right? You cannot throw a whole bunch of money at players late,
right?
Because you're more in this revenue sharing, which you have that cap, and it's hard to come up with that extra NIL type money. Of course, you can if you can find the right deals out there, but maybe tough for Auburn to move up that far. We'll see. And maybe they'll prove me wrong there, but certainly opportunities are out there for Auburn, and it just may be a little bit of a slow start here, which makes really the Baylor game so much more important going into August 29th there. Whew, that's gonna be
Scott and I were just talking about Jackson Arnold and not going to the Manning passing. It slightly surprised me. And of course, the first thing I was told was that he said it was too hot. That was hard for me to believe. So I was like, and then Scott read the quotes, and it makes sense because he did come to Auburn not knowing anybody. Okay. Yep. So he's got to, even though I still think you can help yourself as a quarterback learning from all those folks, and you'd only miss a couple of workouts, but it's very important for Jackson Arnold to work out for Auburn this year because I said this on another show yesterday. They asked me about Hugh Freeze's future, and I said, to me, the only way, I don't see any way he loses his job unless it's some kind of 4-8 disaster.
Right.
Okay. Now, if it's 6-6 or better, he's going to be back. And if it's what I thought it was going to be last year, which was 8-4, win a bowl game, win 9, he's fine. Okay, and I think the recruiting will be good. But am I right there? The only way that it could turn into something really bad is if the bottom falls out.
That's the way I see it right now. Definitely the way I see it right now. Now, if they struggle to the point at 6-6 and this recruiting class just does not bounce back like you want it to, then that can be an issue too. But it's still, I think it's going to be tough for anything major to happen with Hugh Freeze negatively with Auburn, unless it is the bottom falling out type thing, as you said. I would agree with that.
Yeah,
and you did mention the NIL and the revenue sharing and everything. We've heard from a lot of schools on how they plan to handle everything. Do we know how Auburn is going to go about handling all this?
Are you talking as far as percentages for
Yeah,
each program? I don't know the specific ones yet. I'm working on that. I heard baseball's around 5%, but I don't know exactly how much football is. Some ADs and coaches are a little reticent to give out that information now, and I think sometimes maybe you come up with a plan, you see what other people are doing, and you need to change your plan. So we're working on that. Let's put it that way.
Well, and Bruce Pearl has earned his share, though.
Oh yes, Auburn basketball is going to get a very big chunk of that. They need to. They've done a great job, I think, rebuilding the roster. Certainly a program that is going to be fully supported by that at Auburn.
So we were talking about Jackson Arnold as well. How important, I mean, obviously with everything going on with Hugh Freeze, you mentioned that Baylor game on how big it is. How big is it then? I mean, this is not like bringing Peyton Thorne in where the roster was still kind of developing and you were hoping Peyton Thorne would be good.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Hugh Freeze hitching his wagon to the Jackson Arnold. I mean, this is not only hoping, but this is your future as the head coach at Auburn with Jackson Arnold.
It is, or Deuce Knight. We'll see, right? You never know how it's going to go.
Want to leave him out as well.
Yeah, but with Jackson, right, who we don't know exactly what to expect. You should have, and I say should because, I got to see it, right? But you should have one of the best receiving corps in the country. You should. And I think Eric Singleton was a remarkable pickup for Auburn. He had a great spring. So you're adding more speed and athleticism there. You should have one of the best offensive lines Auburn had in quite a while. You would hope that Xavier at left tackle is going to make a difference there that you've needed for decades, it feels like. And you should have a fine running attack, right? I know you lose Jarquez Hunter, but you got 5 guys back now to compete there, whether it's running back by committee or one guy steps up. You feel like one of those guys is going to be more than capable of being a good quality SEC back. So offensively, you would expect some big steps forward, but again, I got to see it. And then I think defensively, you got some holes at linebacker you got to fill. But anytime you're in year 2 under coordinator as talented G.J. Durkin, I would expect to step forward on defense too, especially when you got guys like Keldrick Falk in there on the defensive line. So I think there are reasons for optimism, but they got to go do it on the field. They did not do it on the field. They did not win enough close games last year. They did not, scoring 7 points at home against Vanderbilt. That's not winning football. So they've got to execute better. They got to be better coached.
Yeah, they've got and they got to be more consistent. That was the thing. I really thought they showed defensive improvement, but it's just the offense and so many. They had late leads in games, the Oklahoma game.
Stuff.
They just seemed to lose, and then
they did.
And I was as shocked that they lost to Vandy as I was Alabama losing to Vanderbilt. And so that's Vandy had a good football team, but you don't expect either Alabama or Auburn to lose to those guys. And I don't expect them to lose this year. I think both of them will be, back with a vengeance. But I got to circle back to quarterback in the 2025 recruiting class. Deuce Knight was a huge flip from Notre Dame last year.
Yep.
I know with him, Bryson Beaver, I've watched his film. Alabama got involved with him a little bit. It's very impressive. I know they offered him the other day.
Yeah.
Does this mean Landon Duckworth is going to recommit to South Carolina?
I think so. I think that's absolutely going to happen. And I think we talked about, I'm not saying it's all a money issue, but I think when you look at the quarterback rooms, South Carolina has a quarterback that's probably going to have a really good year and probably go to the NFL next year. Mm-hmm. Auburn's probably going to bring back its top 2 at least. So I think when you talk about that revenue sharing, I think South Carolina probably has a little bit more of that revenue sharing to give to Duckworth right now. So I think that's going to play a part in his decision. And I would expect him to go to South Carolina. I'm not saying that as a fact, but that's sort of the way I'm feeling right now. And I think that's a good reason that Auburn went out and offered another quarterback here yesterday.
Oh, Brian, we are less than 3 weeks away from convening in Atlanta for SEC Media Days. So obviously Hugh Freeze and everything that we've talked a lot about it. We've talked about it with you just today. What are some of the other questions you think Auburn's going to be faced with when they get to Atlanta?
Well, I think Hugh is going to be faced with a lot of questions about his program, about taking the step forward, about how important that is. I think the hot seat questions are going to come up now more than ever, just because this recruiting class is where it is right now. So I just think I think it'll be important for you not to get on the defensive, to address these things right away in his opening remarks and be really confident. I think Auburn needs that type of leadership right now within its program. You go through 4 straight non-winning seasons. It's just, it puts kind of a dark cloud over your program, and you need to feel some confidence going into the season. So I think that's what you needs to do. I think he needs to stand up and come off very confident in what he has and what he's going to do on the field this fall, even to the point of being overconfident.
Well, and Brian Schultz, your colleague, I saw the post he put up about Hugh Freeze. I thought you kind of referenced it earlier in our conversation, but was that more of people putting out things about his health, thinking that he's going to maybe resign? And I wouldn't think, because again, like we said, unless things go horrendously bad on the field, I don't think he's going to be on the scorching hot seat. But his health situation that you said really has to be an issue because of him being a forthright. And I thought he got out ahead of that in the correct way, talking about the cancer diagnosis. But is that kind of what that post was about?
Yeah, I think so. I think Freeze has been hearing some things, getting the feedback from his assistants on the road and recruiting, and things are being said. And again, I'm not saying that in accusatory nature. I think that's just that's just how it is. Billy Napier had to deal with it last year. Plenty of coaches have gone through it. So I think that was a reaction to that, and the way recruiting's been going so far, right? I think he knows, he understands what's going on, and he wants to stop it as quick as possible and turn it back in the direction, which it could be this week with some potential commitments. We'll see.
All right, Bryan Mathews, kind enough to join us here on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And Bryan, though you do look at the schedule, they go to Baylor there in week 1, then they're home. But I mean, I tell you what, there's some big road games out of the gate at Oklahoma, at Texas A&M, and that is just in the month of September.
They need to win this game at Baylor, I think.
Yeah.
And then you got a couple of weeks to prepare for Georgia coming home. It's just so important that they win that Baylor game.
Yeah.
Find a way to win one of those road games and come to Georgia, with some confidence, with people believing that Auburn has a chance instead of expecting another blowout loss at Jordan-Hare Stadium. It'll be a night game already scheduled. So Auburn hasn't beaten Georgia, and it feels like forever now. I guess it's 2017. Is that right?
Before carry on, when he got hurt in the rematch, or got hurt in the Iron Bowl, which
that's hard to believe. Most of my lifetime, it's been a back and forth series, and Georgia's just kind of taken over the last 10 to 12 years. So that is a series that Auburn, needs to perform better in, obviously, especially at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that I'm just going to tell you, if they have a great first month and they beat Georgia, the recruiting momentum will have already completely shifted, because
absolutely
a lot of great players at that game, no question about it. But Bryan, we always appreciate the time and the candor. Let everybody know what you're working on, and as you've already kind of foreshadowed, still some good news could be coming this week for all
recruiting wise. So don't get too down in the dumps about it. I'm putting up a story on the Auburn running backs this morning, just doing my little position previews, do every single year for 25 years. Continue to do some of those football things. Recruiting, it is a dead period, so there won't be any visitors here until back till I guess August 1st it ends.
That's right.
All that more auburnsports.com. Check out Monday Musings from yesterday. Charlie Daniels Band was the featured musician there. Sponsored by Uncle Keith's Red Sauce. I know y'all enjoy that. Publix, Piggly Wiggly, Renfro's, BMAT 15 gets you 15% off that order. And check me out on socials, BMAT AU. I appreciate everybody's support out there.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Bryan.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. I tell you what, that's some good stuff right there from Bryan Mathews.
Yeah, and it's always great to end with Uncle Keith's Red Sauce.
So I put some mozzarella sticks in the oven on Saturday, and I was like, oh, crap. We had other kind of generic salt. We had not generic salsas, but we had a couple salsas in the refrigerator, did not have any Uncle Keith's. I was disappointed.
I'll quote that old commercial that, from New York City.
Yeah. Wasn't as good. It was not as good.
Pecani sauce is from New York City.
That Keith's red sauce.
That's from Auburn, near Auburn, Alabama. That Keith's.
So when we
Keith's
say red
legit.
sauce, it's not just a sauce. It's a salsa is what yes.
It is amazing.
Yes. The show is amazing. We got to get a break in.
Well, some Karens don't like it, but you can't please everybody.
All right. More Talking Ball returns after this.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom Luganville here from my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
I'm Jeff Jr., founder and CEO of Trajan Wealth. I was born and raised in northern Wisconsin by both my father, who owned a small 10-lane bowling alley, and my mother, who was a nurse, who did her best caring for everyone in our small town. My parents stressed with me that if you were going to do anything, it needed to be done right or not done at all. I later joined the Marine Corps, where additional values were instilled. Values like honor, courage, and commitment. The motto of the Marine Corps, Semper Fi, which means always faithful. The best part of Trajan Wealth, our 100-plus employees who also embrace the exact same values. If your current financial advisor is more interested in selling you something or is more loyal to their own financial gain than yours, give us a call for a second opinion. We would be honored to hear from you. Call Trajan today, 256-208-9000. That's 256-208-9000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Cheeseburger Bobby's on Carl T. Jones Drive in South Huntsville is focused on serving great food prepared with the absolute freshest ingredients, featuring classic hamburgers and cheeseburgers with lots of specialty options, chicken and hot dogs, even turkey burgers and veggie burgers, along with fresh cut fries, onion rings, or coleslaw. Always fresh, never frozen, except for the frozen custard. See all the delicious options at Cheeseburger Bobby's for yourself. Check out the menu and more at cheeseburgerbobbies.com.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
The Atlanta Braves.
Cranks one high in the air to deep left field. That's going to fly. It's a 3-run homer. And Sean Murphy off the injured list and onto the stat page with a 3-run homer off Zach Wheeler.
All season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome in. Welcome back. Talking Ball. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Happy Tuesday morning once again. We were talking to Bryan Mathews there in that last segment about Auburn, Hugh Freeze, and the recruiting struggles, I guess you could say, right now, or stuff. Bryan just put out a column just literally probably while we were on break and talking about, and it's a look ahead to the running back spot for Auburn.
He said he was going to put out a preview as he has for 25 years, and his previews of position preview, before fall camp. And today was going to be running back.
Yeah, he puts the potential depth chart for the running back spot as Damari Alston leading the way, followed by Jeremiah Cobb.
Already.
Yeah.
And Cobb is from Montgomery, and I think he's a sleeper there. He could be very, very productive. He's been a really good kickoff returner.
He puts Darrell Robinson there in that 3 spot.
He's the transfer from UConn, I believe.
Followed by Alvin Henderson and Omar Babson, both true freshmen. And then Justin Jones, who is a senior. He says the biggest question with Auburn's running backs in 25 is whether one of the players steps up and becomes the go-to back in the offense, or whether Auburn uses more of a running back by committee approach this fall. He feels, Bryan Mathews feels, that the approach, the committee approach, seems most likely. He says, but then it comes down to which 3 or so become part of that rotation. He feels Alston and Cobb will have roles due to their experience. So there you go.
I mean, I would think, especially early on, Damari Alston's been patient and been productive. I would think that Damari Alston would be the starter. And again, Jeremiah Cobb, it's been mostly a special teams role, but I think he's a good player. He's a very productive player, in the Montgomery area. I believe he played for Montgomery Catholic. And I think, I think he and Damari Alston are going to be the front runners right now, because Damari really looked promising his early in his career, but he's had some fumble issues. And so, but we'll see. But I think Jeremiah Cobb, no question, he and Damari Alston have got a chance to lead that running back room. And it's always interesting. I always like checking out ourlads.com, because they'll give you the depth charts in their eyes. And they're usually pretty accurate. And they've got Damari Alston and Jeremiah Cobb.
256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. Obviously, Jackson Arnold penciled him in there, maybe there as the starter. He will be underrated going in. Whoever starts there at quarterback for Auburn is going to be underrated. Is there another quarterback? Is there another couple quarterbacks within the league that you can say going into the year right now, outside of Ty Simpson possibly, that are going to be coming in underrated, that we don't know a lot about?
Well, I think Austin Simmons is getting a lot of hype. I mean, and we've only seen a little bit of him.
Right.
But, Lane is really good at building offenses around quarterbacks and figuring out what their strengths are. Now, quarterback development, as far as improvement, I understand Jackson Dart was a first-round pick, but I still saw Dart have a lot of issues in big games with his decision-making. So I don't think Lane is a great quarterback developer, but I think he's a hellacious play caller.
Right.
And he's really good at when the bleep's hitting the fan and things are going haywire. He's really a calm guy that sees things really well and can help his quarterback be successful. Now it's up to the quarterback to make the right read and not screw it up.
Right.
And at times, Jackson Dart didn't do that in big games. I thought he Heimlicked.
Kentucky.
But Kentucky, Florida, there was a bunch of them. Alabama, he didn't have to play big bad Bama last year.
What about a guy like Marcel Reed?
I mean, you're talking about from Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I mean, he could. He had bright moments last year. I mean, there's no question about that. I want to see if Lenore Sellers can do it 2 years in a row. I mean, you got all these rumors. Well, I didn't ask Brian about this. I'm not going to ask him something ridiculous like did Auburn offer Lenore
$8 million?
Sellers $8 million? Hellfire. Of course not. I don't believe that. He just got through talking about how Auburn's having to be selective with their money. So is Alabama. They didn't offer Lenore Sellers $8 million. Who's stupid and put that out?
I mean, that thought he couldn't play or didn't want to play in the heat.
mean, Texas A&M or Texas, I could believe it because they're that stupid. But I mean, Texas has already got a Manning, so you don't want to mess with that mojo. And then Texas A&M, they're just the Auburn of Texas. And what I mean by that is they always feel disrespected. They always feel like they don't get enough credit. Auburn feels the same way with Alabama, even though it's the best rivalry in college football because it's an actual rivalry. Like Texas A&M and Texas hate each other so damn much they didn't play for a long time.
Right.
And so, but Alabama and Auburn have played almost continuously since 1948 and it's turned into an outstanding rivalry. But again, I'm just telling you that Jackson Arnold, I have people in football that think he is an outstanding talent that Oklahoma mismanaged.
They could have.
He may end up being a breakout guy. We'll see. And if he is, then Auburn is going to be really good and going to flip it. And then you won't have to worry about the recruiting.
All right. Let's get one quick thought in from Ellis. One quick thought in real fast. Good morning, Ellis.
How are you, sir?
How y'all doing this morning?
Good.
Hey, man, I don't know if you heard the show yesterday, but I did reveal that I tried to shut the cluck up, and I more than survived.
By the way, Hattie B's is coming here. You know that Hattie B's is coming.
Yeah, because I had people asking me about that.
Yes, it's coming.
I said, it's coming out there in front of Joe Davis Stadium.
All right, one quick thought, Ellis. What you got, bud?
Go ahead, Ellis.
Well, I'd like to talk, for one, y'all talk about having a doctor that's going to be coming on.
Yes.
What, tomorrow?
No, a week from today, we got sports med orthopedic surgery doctor Thomas Ricks coming in.
You know what he's going to tell y'all too?
What?
You need to send that box in.
Oh, if you not sent the box in,
I got the Cologuard box still sitting in the office.
Man,
yes. Thank you.
I forgot all about that.
Thank you for the reminder, Ellis. Thank you for the reminder.
But I'd like to talk about Alabama's recruiting.
We talked about that a little bit today. Rael Kelly from Winton Woods in Cincinnati, Justin Hill's teammate, Heath Lips from Rutgers, and then yesterday they also got the tailback flip from Illinois as well from the Tampa area. I'm going to reach out to Keith Niebuhr and try to find out some more intel on him. I don't know a ton about him. I just know that he's a really, really good football player who only had about 30 carries last year. He had transferred from a smaller school over there to a bigger school in the Tampa area, and he got injured 30 carries in. So a lot of people think that's why he wasn't as heavily recruited, but certainly Brett Bielema knows running backs, and he certainly was very high on him, and they had him committed in Illinois until Alabama got him on campus. And Alabama wants 2 running backs in the class, and Javari Barnett is a nice talent. It's quick, got a great skill set, and we're going to try to learn more about him in the coming days.
You said Brett.
I'll be listening. And one more thing, y'all. I know y'all like food and everything. Next time you in Nashville, go to Arnold's Meat and 3.
Yeah.
And go to Peg Leg Porkers.
Peg Leg Porkers. Somebody has told us to go there before.
Yeah, we've
and Arnold's Meat and 3, is that downtown? Is that
870 South?
Okay.
And I ate at Edley's Farms. Have you ever eat there?
Yes, I have.
It was good. We ate over there, and then some of the other players ate at Hattie B's, and that's how I ended up with some shut the cluck up.
All right, Ellis. Thanks for the phone call, bud.
No time.
And I didn't mean to be short with Ellis, but we got to get a break in.
Sonny Ship,
yeah, because Sonny Ship is on the other side, so we got to get him in on real fast.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman, maintaining the warmth and the humidity. And as we head into the overnight, temperatures dropping into the mid-70s. A mostly sunny sky for your Wednesday. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s. Heat indices between 104 and 108. A partly sunny sky for your Thursday. Temperatures climbing into the mid-90s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family-owned for over 14 years. They do both residential and commercial applications and get most jobs done in a day. Lifetime Epoxy Floors' motto is, we love what we do, and it shows. Visit LifetimeEpoxyFloors.com to schedule a free estimate today and check them out on Facebook.
Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN. This is Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Happy Tuesday morning, everyone. Boy, LSU. You start looking at it, what a run they had this year, not just in baseball. They crowned some national champions along the way, and baseball obviously finished it off with a cherry on top.
Well, baseball, I've been watching the College World Series since I was a young kid, and this started in like the late 80s and around the time Stanford won it in 87 and 88, things of that nature. And then LSU, starting in 91 with Skip Bertman, they've won it. And, as I studied the history of college baseball, when I started becoming kind of enamored with it in the late 80s and early to mid 90s, you would study and what I would call before this modern era. The modern era, I would say, is, maybe mid 80s, late 80s on through the 90s. But the dominant program was Rod Dedeaux and USC. They won 11 times, and they were dominant in the 60s and the 70s. But I'm going to tell you, since 91, and I consider that, the modern era of college baseball when it became televised and much more popular, much more media coverage, LSU is the standard. And the Intimidator will now have 8 championships on it. Jay Johnson has won 2 in 3 years. I think even though I love Paul Mainieri, he's such a class act. He won a national championship, had, 15, 16 really good years in Baton Rouge, but they may have finally found the one guy in Jay Johnson that can feed the beast like Skip. And so Coach Skip Bertman is on the certainly always would be on the Mount Rushmore of college baseball. And I still think he's the greatest SEC coach ever. But we're going to talk about that championship, its impact, and LSU football recruiting, which is going into the dead period. There could be a lot of good news coming out of Baton Rouge, and we love catching up with our next guest, part of Go 24/7 and the 24/7 Sports Network, and that's Sonny Ship. Sonny, hope you're staying cool in Louisiana in this early summer. But welcome back to Huntsville with Drew and Scott. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. It's funny watching all these national news places and stuff, and they're talking about heat and this dome of high pressure and stuff like that. And it's like, what are you even talking about? Why does that matter? We live that.
Is it warm? I mean, are you guys experiencing it? Is it warm down there now?
The regionals and the Supers, it looked hot in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, it did look a little warm.
Yeah, and you know what? It's you're starting to feel it now. You know, like when you walk outside at 8:15 in the morning to to see what it used to look like when you would get newspapers delivered to your house back in the day,
Oh,
and you
yeah.
start sweating before you walk in to get your cup of coffee. So yeah, you know what you got to look forward to for about the next 4 or 5 months until that LSU Alabama game in November.
Yeah,
Well,
no doubt.
What a run. What a run by Jay Johnson in this baseball program to cap it off. Everybody was talking about Texas possibly being the best team this year and getting there and winning it. And it seemed like once LSU got there, it was like, okay, maybe we got to start paying attention to LSU a little bit. But, man, they capped it off the right way.
Yeah, and the SEC, it was kind of funny watching the SEC every week. Every Monday when the top 25 polls would roll out, you were consistently, for the first half of the season, you were consistently seeing 6, 7, heck, sometimes even 8 of the top 10 teams in the country from the SEC. And then once you started hitting that middle to the back half of the schedule, those beasts just started knocking one another off. And to see it, to see an SEC team still standing after there was so much hype going into the season, and then as you started reaching the end of it and stuff, and people are like, well, maybe the SEC is really not as good as it looked. I think the SEC proved that it was as good as it looked and then some. And for Jay, I was mentioning this on another show yesterday. Jay's got a good recipe. Jay's got a good recipe, and that word dynasty's being tossed around now 2 out of 3 years.
Yeah.
Is Jay the guy who can finally? No disrespect to Paul Maneri.
No,
but
not at all.
It's
Love
hard.
Paul.
It's hard following the legend.
It is.
And Smoke Laval didn't have enough time there to kind of bridge it to where Paul was really still succeeding Skip. And so, now to come in and succeed Paul, that's a lot less pressure for Jay. That's a lot less pressure for him, but you still have Skip there, and Skip's his mentor, like he said, his good friend, and I just think that Jay's really found a sweet spot in convincing those players out of high school to spend the next 2, 3, 4 years on a college campus, but then going out and getting some studs out of portal, and you mix that up together. And he's able to get that team togetherness, that camaraderie, and everything that's needed to hoist that trophy.
Well, and it's perfectly look. That analogy is you can just look at the pitching staff and at the top of it. Cade Anderson was a guy that grew up in Louisiana, always wanted to go to LSU. He was a guy, one of the first guys Jay Johnson reached out to make sure he was still coming when he got the job. And then you go get Andrew Ianson out of the transfer portal, and those are the 2 guys that led the way to winning this championship.
Yeah, and then you look in the field, you got Stanfield in center field, you got Braswell at third base, you have Dickinson at second base, and you have Luis Hernandez as your catcher.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got half of your starting 9, or 4 of your other starting 8
right
out of the portal. Your other 4 are your high school guys that you brought in, and I just think that it's tough in this day and age. We've seen Ole Miss, we've seen Michigan State, we've seen some schools try to do it out of the portal, where you go in and you just go portal heavy, and those are good teams, but they fall short. They fall short of winning that championship. And I think just in the day and age that we're in, whether it's football, baseball, and even basketball to an extent, I just think that you've got to have that nice mixture. You've got to have that mixture of your high school players, of your portal guys. And that's really what kind of scares me about Matt McMahon and basketball coming up this season.
Gotcha.
Is it's so portal heavy in such a critical year, It's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic shakes out for him.
You mentioned dynasty, but I mean, to rebuild this team after everything that they lost 2 years. I mean, they win the 23 title on the baseball diamond. And what they do, I think they set the record for draft picks that year. And then to come back 2 years later and win it all again, that is remarkable.
Well, and then you even consider last year. I don't know. Remember last year they were a Jake Brown fly ball out in right field away from potentially making it back to Omaha again last year.
Mhm.
You know, they win that North Carolina regional. They're coming back to Baton Rouge to play a super.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, and
that's
so
very
who knows
true.
what, who knows what happens in that sense.
Yeah, well,
You know?
and I'll just say this for his team. I wasn't sure if the lineup was deep enough this year or even the bullpen was good enough. I knew they could get to Omaha, but it's talking about winning it all. But I just got to say, when Arkansas let it slip away and didn't get it to that what if game, I mean, you can't allow LSU extra outs. I mean, they have the it factor. They believe they're going to win, the gold jerseys, the whole deal. I mean, when you look at it and they're 8 for 9 in the College World Series final, that's pretty astounding.
It's pretty astounding. And that 1-2 punch, I mean, when LSU won it all in 23, I mean, obviously, you had a great punch of Paul Skeens, Ty Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
You had Thatcher Hurd, who came up big in the CWS. And, you look back at this year, that 1-2 punch of Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson. Then you had Cason Evans emerge into that starter role late in the season. You had Chase Shores, who, my goodness, where did this guy come from? Emerge as a closer out of the bullpen for you. And just it's going to be really interesting to see, when you talk to LSU folks and stuff about 1-2 punches that LSU has had on the mound, and they've had some good ones over the years. I mean, I was listening to you guys talk about how you got into the College World Series back in the late 80s with, when Stanford and LSU first started making it there. And, I grew up loving Cliff Gustafson in the Texas Longhorns.
That's
I
right.
only got to watch him one time a year. That was
That's
College
right.
World Series, man. But you get Cliff Gustafson there and Ron Frazier and the Miami Hurricanes and Arizona State Sun Devils and stuff. And I mean, man, that's what college baseball tradition is all about. So I'm just so excited to see the game, really had taken off the way that it has over the years and stuff. And my son keeps asking me, he's like, Dad, when are they going to get a college baseball game for PS5
video game?
and all
Yeah,
of that
nice.
stuff?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I don't know, but I hope they wait till I retire so I don't lose my job.
Well, all of this baseball national championship excitement, I mean, it's the last sport the NCAA plays during the year. Next one up is football. I am sure it's bleeding into the excitement level for what Brian Kelly can put out onto the field in 25.
Oh yeah, when you go into the LSU baseball season, regardless of what it is, you're talking about Omaha. You're expecting the season to end in Omaha, and going into this season right here, for Brian Kelly, you're expecting this to end in the college football playoff. I don't think there's any question about it. The work that they did in the transfer portal of going out and not only getting upgrades on defense, but also getting some good depth pieces too. When you look at LSU and if you look at Athlon's, you look at Lindy's, you look at some of the publications, you'll see anywhere from like 9 to 12 starters that they have coming back this year. But if you add in all of the transfer starters that they got from Power 4 schools, you are now talking about 19 to 20 starters coming back. That's a lot of talent. That's a lot of experience. Now, getting all of that talent and getting all of that experience to mesh, that's obviously, a lot easier said than done. We've seen some of the schools that I mentioned before who went so portal heavy and who just didn't quite, things just didn't quite finish the way that they thought they were going to finish. Still had good seasons, but not the type of seasons they went out and paid for and that they thought that they were going to get. And so when you're going into this season right here, I think that's what you look at with LSU is that, they don't have a ton of starters coming back from last year's LSU's team, but man, they've got a ton of starters across that first 22.
Well, and as we're going into this 38-day dead period, as you wrote yesterday on Go 24/7, where does LSU's recruiting stand right now as the dead period is starting?
The rankings are kind of misleading.
Right.
if you look at 24/7 Sports, 24/7 Sports has the class 30th in the country.
Mm-hmm.
The composite has it 13th in the country.
Yeah,
And the composite,
it does. Yep.
the composite is what gathers all of the industry generated rankings. However, those team rankings are skewed a little bit because they also depend on the more commitments that you have.
Yes.
The higher the more points that you're going to accumulate. So LSU's only sitting at 10 commitments, which is one of the lowest of everyone. If you look at their points per commit, they're number one in the country by a good margin over Ohio State. And so that gives you an idea of where that class is. Coming up here, I know you got 4-star tight end Israel Briggs, who's supposed to announce today between Miami and LSU. I totally expect that to go Miami's way. But in the month of July, it's become the commitment month.
Yeah.
It's the month during the dead period to where, everybody seems to want to get that decision off their chest. And so you're going to see those rankings just continue to rise. I mean, you got Lamar Brown, the number one defensive lineman in the country in Baton Rouge. He's set to announce his commitment on July 10th. That's a big one that I think is trending towards LSU's way, and I think that LSU is going to pull that over the finish line and keep him in state. You've got 2 5-star offensive linemen getting ready, planning to announce in July. Emmanuel Iheanacho. I think he'll end up going to Oregon, but I think LSU is going to pull Darius Gray, the number one interior offensive lineman out of the country. So you've got some big fish out there that still that are going to be announcing in the coming days and weeks, that you're going to really start to see that class take off. And then all of a sudden, everybody's going to look at it and say, oh, wow, LSU's got the number 1, 2, 3, or 4 class in the country. Whereas right now it's kind of getting overlooked. But when you go in those numbers, you really see how good how talented the class is.
Well, always great stuff from Sonny Ship, part of the 24/7 Sports
Yes,
Network.
indeed.
GAUX, go 24/7. He covers recruiting, covers the LSU Tigers. Man, we always appreciate it. Let everybody know what you got coming up, man.
Hey, man, we got a lot of recruiting coming up. We're shifting the focus to looking to see what Jay Johnson's going to have coming back next year. Looking ahead, starting that preseason football coverage. Got a great deal going now too, where it's 50% off an annual VIP pass, 13 cents a day. Man, I don't know what we can. Used to be we could go get 4 pieces of super bubble gum for 3 cents a piece and be happy. I don't think we can get that anymore.
Well, we know Jay Johnson will be very active until the portal closes on July 1st, too.
That's it. Oh, yeah. The LSU baseball recruiting news is, I can't even imagine what it's like now for Jay Johnson to call up somebody out of the transfer portal and just say, like, hey, you need a place?
Yeah, I know.
You looking for a place to play? I mean, it can't be much tougher than that, huh?
I know. You got that right. Well, Sonny, man, we'll catch up with you again soon. We hope to see you in Atlanta for SEC Football Media Days. We always appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
Anytime, guys. Y'all have a blessed week.
All right, Sonny Ship helping us go to break. Let's get one in. Tomorrow's headlines. Well, hell, we probably don't even have time.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all, with features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Best of all, now Thompson Tractor is making that investment even better with our Workhorse Special. Get 0% financing for 36 months on the purchase of a new Cat 255 compact track loader that comes with a 3-year warranty. You also get a 74-inch bucket and 1,000-hour filter kit. But hurry, this offer is only good through June 30th. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
See, I told you we're done. Beat the Mutts, beat the Mutts, beat the Mutts. That's fine. You can beat New York all you want. You just got to beat everybody else. you got to beat everybody else. You're owning the Mets.
Hey, but I will say this. That one of the best things Chipper Jones tweeted out on his account, there was a Braves fan in the crowd at the Mets game with a 10 Braves jersey on that said Larry on the back.
There we go.
The Met killer, Larry Chipper Jones.
All right, we're done. We're back at it tomorrow. Wednesday edition of Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN.
Did I say I hated the Mets?
Maybe. But guess what? You can't watch it.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of